Well, we're back, and I promised y'all we would be back to check on our starter. So that's what we're fixing to do. But if y'all missed my first video, it's a video of starting the Amish friendship bread starter. So if y'all missed it, I'm going to leave the link down in the description box, and y'all can go back and see the recipe for getting that started. But right now we're going to check it. This is day 2, and we're going to be stirring it. We're going to see what it looks like. If y'all started yours with me, we'll see what y'all's, y'all will be able to see if y'all's kind of looks like mine, or if it's doing good or whatever. So I kind of peeked at mine, so it looks like it's doing pretty good, and it smells really good too. So I'm going to answer a few questions. I had somebody ask me if, I guess it concerned them because it has milk in it. Now there's sourdough starter that's made with water, and there's sourdough starter that's made with milk, and this one's made with milk, and yes, it does sour. So that answers that one. And I know quite a few people have asked me if you can make starter with almond flour. The answer to that is no. You can't make a starter with any kind of nut flour, like almond flour or coconut flour, even tapioca flour doesn't work in a starter, so I'm sorry about that one. But anyways, if you're new to my channel and you're just seeing me today, my name's Miss Lori. You're a Whippoorwill Holler, and you're in my kitchen, and we've made some Amish friendship bread starter, and we're on our second day, and we're fixing to stir it, and we're going to go plumb through day 10 with me, and we're doing this together to see if we can get a good starter going, and we're going to make some recipes out of it starting on day 10. So let's check it out and see how good it's doing. So I'm going to lift it up, and y'all can see how it's bubbled up, and we're just going to stir it. Now don't get all upset if it looks kind of gross and just don't look right. How's it smell, Mr. Brown?
It smells like a yeast roll.
It does. You know what? It's, I hate to say it, but the starter really is doing good. But you know how beer smells? Yeasty?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm smelling. Almost like a brewer's yeast here. Okay. I've got mine stirred. You can see how it looks. You've seen how it looked when we took the top off. It didn't look real pretty, but it's doing good. We're not going to feed it, because this starter doesn't get fed till the 6th day, and that'll be our first feeding. But you'll come back every day and stir it.
It's not hungry yet.
It's not hungry yet. No, it's still doing good. It's not hungry yet.
It's not like me.
But I can tell you by the smell and the look, the bubbles and how it looked and how it's doing now, that so far we're doing good. So
You have to feed me every day.
I have to feed you every day because you get grumpy.
I start to bubble and get grumpy.
Anyways, I want to get down here and show them. Yeah, you can still see there's still bubbles even after I stirred it. So we got a good starter going at this second day. So all I'm going to do is put my top. Now that I've stirred it, I'm just going to loosely put my cover back on it and leave it right here. And so far so good. And if y'all started your starter with me, I hope it's doing this good too. So there you go, day 2. Now, I've had some people ask me, you know, what are we going to do on day 10? Well, that's when you're gonna bake it with it. You're going to take some out for your recipe. We're going to bake something, and then we'll divide it and share it. Put some in the freezer. If you know, if you can't share all of it, or don't want to share all of it, you can put some in the freezer. So that'll be day 10. So far we're looking good.
I got one more thing to say.
What?
The Mississippi River don't look near as wide if there's a beautiful woman like you on the other side. So,
I don't know what to say after that.
well, I heard the song this morning, Louisiana Woman, Mississippi Man.
You gonna sing it?
No, not tonight.
They would like for you to.
Not tonight.
If you're gonna bring it up, you gotta sing it.
No.
Oh my gosh.
So, what are you going to say now?
We're fixing to read about sourdough.
Oh, cool.
Okay, I wanted to share something with y'all. This is a book, a collection of recipes that a subscriber friend sent to me. And it's a really cool book. It's called A Time of Horses, Cattle, and Sheep. It's a collection of recipes from ranches and camps that includes Dutch oven and sourdough recipes, and it's by Don Jordan. I'm not going to show you the whole book, but it's a really good one. Has a lot of good recipes in it, and it has stories in here too. But the reason I wanted to show you is because of the sourdough recipes and his sourdough starter. But I'm just going to read this kind of an introduction here. And this is, he was from, I guess, Eastern Oregon. I hope I'm not wrong on that. But it says ranch and camp cooking. The majority of the old-time camp and ranch cooks and sheep herders have gone on to the big camp in the sky. Sorry to say, most of their great recipes went with them. If these recipes were written down, it was on a can label, back of an envelope, or with luck, it was on the margin of a very old cookbook and can still be found around the house somewhere. And he says, I have collected Dutch oven and sourdough recipes for many years. But, true to form, these recipes are scattered from everywhere. But he puts it a different way. My family, including my wife, and many sister-in-laws, aunts, kids, and friends, are all great cooks. However, their filing system are equal to mine. We have probably spent as much time looking for recipes as we have spent actually cooking them. I have finally decided to collect as many old recipes as I could find and put them together into a book. Family, friends, and relatives have all participated. A few new recipes have been shared, and many old recipes have resurfaced, some for the first time in great many years. A lot of these old recipes are still being used daily on ranches and in camps. A few have been changed to adjust to modern tastes, but most are originally written and have been proven by many generations of good cooks. Ranch and camp recipes. A lot of our recipes came from overseas or down south and reached us by wagon or horseback. Many date back to the 1840s up to the 1950s. Other recipes came north on chuck wagons and pack trains from the southwestern states, along with cowboys and sheep herders who brought thousands of cattle, horses, and sheep to eastern Oregon. The cowboys were of every nationality. The majority of the sheep herders were Basque, I don't know, it's B-A-S-Q-E. Many of the cowboys were Mexican vaqueros, and the food related their heritage. Hot and well seasoned and with lots of chili pepper, salt and pepper. Over the years, vaqueros became buckaroos, but the majority of the sheep herders were still, I wish I could pronounce that. Nanny, do you know what that says? Basque? B-A-S-Q-E? As the nationalities changed, so did the food. It remained hot, but included more meat, beans, and potatoes. The food was hot, plain, and filling. As times changed, so did the recipes. Now, more than 100 years later, the food still reflects its heritage. Meat, potatoes, and beans are still the staple foods around which ranch meals are planned. Any meal cooked on eastern Oregon ranches today will still reflect the influence of a time of horses, cattle, and sheep. However, today more seasonings and spices are available, and this is reflected in most modern recipes. All the recipes are easily changed to fit modern tastes, but first, try them the old way. You may be pleasantly surprised. Okay, Mr. Brown looked up that word. It's B-A-S-Q-U-E. It's Basque. It's a French word.
Yes, Basque. Pronounced like you bask in the sun, the way I understood it. Yeah. But it's spelled different. It's French.
Okay, Don Jordan, he goes on to writing, all you need to know about sourdough. And this is what he says. He says, well, that title is wrong. No one knows all there is to know about sourdough. Well, maybe God does, but I bet that there's been mornings even when he wondered why his sourdough hotcakes didn't turn out. You have your good days and you have your bad days. Thank God for the good days and change the bad ones up to experience. If you are timid, can't take being laughed at or ridiculed or being picked on, stop right here. Don't read any further. Don't get me wrong, sourdough is the easiest thing in the world to work with. However, some days, try as you might, it won't turn out. It's not your fault though. That's just the nature of the stuff. After you use it for a while, you will develop a new personality. Somehow it toughens and strengthens you. You will totally ignore all those nasty remarks about your sourdough abilities. You will go around with your head held high, knowing that you belong to an exclusive group of people, and will, unknowingly, join the secret society of sourdoughs. Maybe I can help you avoid a few pitfalls. With a little luck, I can even help you on your way to becoming a great sourdough chef. As with the section on the Dutch oven cookery, this information is offered as advice only. If you find it confusing or somewhat long-winded, just skip over it, mix up your starter, and head straight to the recipes. Sourdough starter. Most authorities state that if you lose a starter, start it over again. I started my starter with malt yeast left from the bottom of a home brew barrel over 30 years ago. Over the years, this starter has become dear to me, and I would hate to lose it. If you like your starter and want to be assured that you don't lose it, take out enough to start over and store it in the freezer, where it will keep forever. Now, if your starter is lost, get the one from the freezer and you are back in business. Don't forget to put another starter back into the freezer just in case it happens again. There's just as much written about sourdough starter as you would hear in a speech on the Senate floor. However, the whole truth about sourdough starter is keep it simple and keep it short. Now, he's got his recipe for his sourdough starter, which they use in the camps and ranches in Eastern Oregon and different places. And it's 2 cups of warm water, 2 cups of flour, 1 tablespoon of dry granulated yeast, and 2 tablespoons of sugar. So we're not far off with our Amish friendship bread starter. And he's got some really good recipes in here that we may be trying too, along with our other recipes. A lot of sourdough recipes in here from his sourdough that he's has got. Pancakes. We got sourdough biscuit recipe. Let's see what I've got marked here. Yeah, several sourdough biscuit recipes. This one I want to try. It's sourdough fried pan bread. Don't that sound good, Mr. Brown?
You know how I like that pan
Sourdough
bread.
fried pan bread. That would be really good.
One thing I know, I picked a fine time to try to lose weight.
And here's the sourdough waffles. I mean, there's just all kinds of sourdough recipes in this book. So, thank you for sending me this book. And I will be using some recipes out of here.
I love old recipes.
I do too. Especially knowing, you know, they use them on camps and ranches and out there. Okay, I hope everybody's sourdough that started one with me is doing good. I'll be back in a couple days, and it'll be about the fourth day on the sourdough. I don't know what we'll be doing. We'll either be doing a recipe or doing something in the garden or something, but we will be checking on our starter. So I hope y'all enjoy the video. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe because it does help us a lot. And y'all come back and see us, get your starter going, and we'll make up a lot of good recipes with all this sourdough starter we got going. We're going to be able to put it up, freeze it, and I think maybe by the end of this, I may show y'all how to dehydrate sourdough starter too. So, with that being said, y'all be good, God bless, and stay safe, and we'll see you in a couple days.